Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's a little warmer today. Although it was the 20s before I came out, it's in the 40s now. So it's a heat wave, a veritable heat wave. Okay, so I'm still licking my wounds from yesterday, and I suppose I will for some extended period if we don't do something about it. What I'm talking about is obviously the Rittenhouse acquittal, unimaginable, in Wisconsin. And I looked at a picture today of the survivors of the two persons who were killed, and I cannot understand how any human could side with the right to kill protesters over the defense of individuals exercising their First Amendment right to protest the racist killing by police that had happened previously, that prompted these rallies through the street, that resulted in murders by one man who traveled from Antioch, Illinois, to be there with weapons, pretending to be there to give medical aid and treatment, when in fact, instead of life-saving, he was there to be death-dealing. I blame, first of all, the judge. And I would be very curious to look at who the judge relied on for contributions to be elected to the bench, as compared with the jurors that he chose to hear this case. We've seen the other evidentiary reasons. Anyhow, I'm not going to relitigate what I've said before, but what I do say, and what I do believe we should do, is to be pushing the Attorney General to investigate Rittenhouse for gun violations and perhaps other violations of law that would result in a prosecution and result on him ending up in custody where he should have been had there been a fair trial in the first place. Secondly, I hope the family will find counsel and some affordable way to go forward with wrongful death actions so that this man, young as they may say he is, as difficult as it may be for him to make a judgment, that is to pay one, go after him for exactly that. Now, the convergence of what's wrong with America should prompt us to remember to take care of ourselves too, which is to say, the dissonance between what we've been taught our lives, how government is supposed to work, and what we're seeing these days, in that lawlessness reigns, in my opinion, because reckoning is absent, meaning there's no coercion or process of punishment. Bannon is a start, but again, it's for a contempt violation, and we had to sort of beat and drag, I feel, Garland to the fence post to jump the fence to do something in the first place. There's a cartoon in the Washington Post today that says, oh yeah, Bannon, well, anybody associated with Trump doesn't follow the law. Good cartoon. Question, why aren't we prosecuting those who do not follow the law? This sort of goes on and on. But anyhow, while we're dealing with these terrible things, I think you should reach for an old good book or a new good book to read, so sort of helps you take you out of this. And I talked about A Movable Feast, which is a book I'm revisiting for the first time since I was a law student when I was recuperating from a broken leg, administered to me by a young lady in her dad's station wagon who wasn't paying attention at the intersection. Such is life. Anyhow, one of the advantages of that was I sat there and I really studied this book, and I'm revisiting it again. And I feel like I'm in Paris because I read the book and went to Paris afterwards. Among other places, I did the continent on a motorcycle. And I saw where he would go from day to day, cafe to cafe to write. And I lived in a garret which was described like the one he had. So, all of that made that fun. And so revisiting that is a far play from our American political dystopia, in my opinion. Now, returning to the Hill and the dystopia, here's the way I see the transformational bill that we have. First of all, I think that's a rotten name for a bill. I mean, to characterize it as such, what does that mean? Whoever uses that. If you look through history, we had the New Deal, the Square Deal. We had the New Frontier with Jack Kennedy, which is based on the Turner thesis, in my opinion, rugged individualism of America. So given that we're trying to restore the republic, to repair what Trump did wrong, to raise the banner of law, real law and order, not as a signal to punish or to go after blacks, but as to restore the fact that there are rules we all must live by, and to deal with racial justice, and to deal with voting, and to deal with those things that matter. So why don't we call it the New Republic? And that this item that they passed, should it ever become law in the Senate and the House and end up before the desk of Biden, is part of the New Republic. We don't have a banner because no one wants to commit themselves to an idea that means anything to them, which is another way of saying maybe they have no idea that's worth committing to. They want to commit to 1,000 different ideas and be free to reject them if the public doesn't like them. Well, if you're not an advocate for something you believe in, then, to borrow from Jesus, if you're tepid, I'll spew you forth from my mouth. And that's exactly what we as citizens want to do. These guys are flumphing up on the hill. And they, instead of the 1.75 trillion that Manchin said was his make or break amount, we may have up to $2.4 trillion. We even lost a Democrat. So we only passed this in the House by 2 votes. And we're taking this inflated bill with things that the Senate won't accept. And Sinema and Manchin may not accept. And so we may get nothing because we ask for so much that's not agreeable to the Democrats. We can't ignore the Democrats, whom we hope to support this transformational bill, which I think should be on a poster that says the New Republic. This is what we're for. Voting, suppress no one. Racial justice, all are equal, as Thomas Jefferson promised us. Let's fix our roads and highways, and let's give services to our people. The New Republic, that's what we're about. But there's no passion, there's no feeling. There's accusations, but there's no real guts in it. Bobby Kennedy, one of my heroes, said, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We could use more people who actually acted that way instead of bullshitting us about how easy this damn bill is going to pass, because it's not going to pass at all unless there's a magical incantation that delivers it to the desk of Joe Biden. Okay, so I'm done, and I'm here in my cathedral of trees, and I claim it as my defense for preaching on a Saturday. All the best. Bye-bye.